Hello everyone, welcome to At America TV. My name is Aninda. I am one of the EGATs here in At America. It's really nice to see you all. We hope you all doing well and staying safe at home. For those of you who just joined us for the first time, At America is the U.S. Embassy's American Center, and our mission is to provide a space for young Indonesians to learn more about the United States. We have moved temporarily to a digital platform so you can enjoy our events from the comfort of your own home. For today's episode, we'll be having applying to U.S. grad schools, what and when to prepare. But before we begin, let's break the ice with a little game. The question for today is, true or false, Harvard University is the oldest university in the U.S.? Well, I know you already have the answer in your mind. You can start typing your answer through our social media, and in the end of the event, we will do a live shout-out for those of you who can guess the answer correctly. Also, I would like to remind you, as the celebration of 10th years anniversary of At America and also the diversity of the United States of America and Indonesia, we are holding an activity with a giveaway. The giveaway is an iPad Pro. Woohoo! I'm so excited for it. I know you're also excited for that. You can stay tuned until the end of the program because that's when I will let you know how to do and get the iPad Pro. Alright everyone, without further ado, let's invite our today's moderator, Santika Salim, our Education USA at America advisor. Time is yours.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining Education USA at America tonight. We appreciate your time, and Vina and I will be very, very happy to have all of you here who are watching from Zoom or other platforms like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram Live. If you have any questions, even if you are not in Zoom, feel free to send them our way through the comment box, and our team will pass it to us. So if this is your first time, I want to let you know that my name is Santika. I am one of the Education USA at America advisor. I'm here with my colleague, Vina, and I will call her after I give you a brief presentation on what Education USA is. So here we go. And you should be able to see the screen right now. And here we go. All right. So there are two advisors here in Education USA at America. There's me and there's Fina. And our advising hours is every day from 1 until 9 p.m., except on days like this when we have events because there's nobody in the Zoom advising room. Okay. So we do one-on-one advising, even though before this whole situation, we are open for public for everyone to come into at America. But now we move to all digital platforms. So one-on-one advising and events are still going on, but everything is online. So you can still do one-on-one advising with either one of us through Zoom, and the Zoom ID is 276-124 and 396. So you just need to come in during our hours and during the days that we should be available. So you can check our schedule and these details on our website that I will share later. All right, so move to the next page. If this is your first time, you will want to try. Oops. Okay. So this is also another way on how you can contact us. You can email us if you are, a bit shy to come to Zoom. You can email us first at jakarta.atamerica@educationusa.org. And move to the next one. This is our upcoming events on June 23rd, which is tomorrow. Same time, 7 until 8:30. We will talk about letters of recommendation for the U.S. University application, the do's and the don'ts. Fina and I will discuss on this. And if you are in the step of, completing your whole application for the graduate school, especially, you will need to find out, what are the things that you can probably do to boost your letter of recommendation to make it even better. Okay. So don't forget to come and register like what you did to this event. And our next event will be on July. So, our last event for this month is tomorrow. So I don't want you to miss it. And on July, we will start with this one. What our successful advisees say about Education USA at America. We will invite one of Vina's advisee, Kurnia Nugraha, and he is going to Columbia University. It will be on 6:30 until 8:30 at 6:30 until 8:30 p.m. on July 9th on Friday. Okay? And the next one is on Thursday, July 15th, 7 until 8:30 p.m. On how to write statement of purpose for the US graduate school. So actually, this one is meant for graduate schools, but feel free to join us even if you're applying for the undergrad, because we are sure that there are some things that you can still learn even if you are using, those skills that we share for your undergraduate preparation. Okay, so this will be our monthly event as well. If you already know us, this is one of our monthly events along with the letter of recommendation. And a lot of our advisees actually come to more than one time of the same exact session. So this will, speak its volume on how important this thing is. And I want you to come to this one. Okay. All right. So you can check all of our upcoming events because we have more than what I just shared on July events. But you can check all of them, the complete list on our website, educationusa.state.gov or at america.or.id/educationusa. Okay. And so today, we will talk about applying to the US grad schools, what and when to prepare, and I will invite you, my fellow advisor here in Education USA at America, Fina Alatas. Hi, Fina.
Hi, Santika. How are you doing?
Doing great. Thank you so much for having us tonight. We are so excited to learn from you.
Thank you. Okay, so I will take it over. Thank you so much, Santika, for the introduction. So hopefully, if this is your first time, guys, you are right now thinking about, you know what, I want to see, what is this session about tonight, and then you will hopefully that you can, kind of have a session with us, either with Santika or myself. Okay, so I am going to continue the slides that Santika had. So hopefully you guys can see this. So tonight, and it's really funny. One of the audiences in the chat here in Zoom basically kind of like asked, "This is like a new event." So basically, I kind of like play around with the title a little bit, but we had presented this specific session a while ago, but I haven't had this session for some time, so I'm actually really excited to be able to share this specific topic to you guys tonight, applying to US grad schools, what and when to prepare. So before I jumped and kind of like start the presentation, I would like to say hi to you guys first if this is your first time or you guys are watching from so many different platforms, because obviously we are not only here in Zoom, but we are on so many different platforms, on Facebook, Twitter, we are live on YouTube, Instagram. So wherever you guys are watching this from and you have any questions or you have any comments, please leave it in the chat or in the comments, depending on what platform you're using, because we have an amazing at America's team who will basically make sure that I will get to see this, questions or comments that you may have at the end of this presentation. Okay, so I'm very excited about this event tonight because this is actually really important. As you may already know, or maybe you don't know, in Education USA, specifically in America, where Santika and I are currently at, we basically assist the majority of you guys, young professionals who want to continue master's or PhD. By the way, if you guys are here watching this session right now, want to study PhD, please shout out. Please say, tell your name and say if you want to do PhD, because I have good news for you guys with this session tonight. Basically, at the end of the session, I really want you to really consider doing PhD in the US, because just wait and see when I get to the funding aspect of doing PhD in the US. All right, so let me just go ahead and start with my favorite first slide. I usually have this on basically every presentation session that I have. So I just want to make sure that we are on the same page with this list of requirements, right? So if you want to study in the US, these are basically the general requirements that the universities are asking: TOEFL or IELTS. We're going to basically cover about all of this, not like into not like detailed, because for example, like the essay the segmental purpose, I have different session like what Santika just mentioned. We're going to have that, next month. Okay. But TOEFL or IELTS, right? And then we're going to talk about like, okay, so TOEFL or IELTS. And then college transcript for sure. Resume or CV. We also have separate event on that as well. And then letters of recommendation. We're going to touch upon a little bit about this topic tonight. But as Santika mentioned, we have a separate session specifically on letters of recommendation as well tomorrow. And then we're going to also cover about like GRE or GMAT. And then, of course, last but not least, statement of purpose or personal essay. I don't put this on a specific order. So I basically just kind of like, put all the lists, not on specific order. So it doesn't mean that I put segment of purpose being the last here, number 6. It doesn't mean that it's the least important document on your application. If you have been with us or you attended my session, was that last week, on statement of purpose, you already know how it's really, really important. So basically, statement of purpose or personal essay is something that you really want to pay attention more. Okay, so let's start with this particular slide. I want to make it clear that if you guys are thinking about continuing your master's or PhD in the US, I mean, it sounds like really obvious, but I want to put an extra attention to this. The fact that English proficiency is very, very important. Okay? And I have a good reason why I have this slide, and I wanted to kind of like, stay here a little bit longer. But basically, you will definitely want to ask yourself, can you do well in a program conducted entirely in English? Because, well, obviously, we're going to be in the US and then everything's going to be in English. Graduate programs require a substantial amount of reading, writing, and speaking. So you really need to be able to really ask yourself, am I comfortable, with my English, right? And here's the important part. The reason is because you want to get at least 90. So if you are already familiar, which I hope you are, with the scoring system in TOEFL and IELTS, and I think I'm going to touch upon this topic a little bit. You know that how the standard score for TOEFL is 79, right? And then I'm not putting 79 in here. And actually, if you want to study outside the US, even if it's countries where English is their first language, even like, for example, like when you want to go to the UK, for example, there are actually a lot of universities, if not the majority, or if not all of the universities are asking for the standard TOEFL score that is 79. If you want to study in the US, don't. I'm not saying that there are no universities in the US that ask for 79 on their TOEFL, but the majority of US universities on a graduate level, they are asking for 90. And even if you want to do LLM, for example, they might ask for like 100. There are universities in the US that even ask for 110 out of 120. That's like a really high score of English. So English is very important. We can't really move on to the next steps if we don't have this, specific score. Okay. And then the next thing, of course, funding options. So you already kind of like figure out, okay, my English is on point, is already good. I'm ready. I can get 90 or I can get 100. So put 90 as kind of like the minimum, the score that you want to aim, but then be prepared that the universities might actually ask for more. And then once we kind of like, okay, in that department, in the English department, the next step would be funding options is the next important thing before we kind of like move on, because we also want to kind of like be realistic in this sense. I totally on board, or I totally understand when people are saying that, I don't really think about, or I don't really plan about funding in the beginning. I know that I want to, start the application and then I just want to get accepted first and then funding can come later. There are some people who are thinking that way and I totally kind of, sure. But then Me personally, I'm very kind of like just try to be very realistic because I actually see a lot of people where they already got the LOA, but then they couldn't find the funding. And so they couldn't, actually continue their study in the US. So findings are actually really important. And I want to kind of like talk a little bit about this more. So for master's degree, the good news is there are many, many options for you guys. We're talking about government funded. Usually when it's from government, it's Fulbright scholarship or full funded scholarship. And then if you, of course, who doesn't know Fulbright, who doesn't know LPDP? So Fulbright is a full ride scholarship from the US government. And then we also have LPDP from the Indonesian government. The majority of our advisees are basically aim for LPDP, but then we also see a number of our advisees aim for Fulbright as well. Okay. How about full ride scholarship from the university? Is it possible? Yes, especially if you are planning to do a science heavy type of programs or programs where they don't accept too many students in one academic cycle, then the funding might be possible to come from the university and it's full ride. Okay. But if you're talking about programs that have a lot of students like MBA or public policy, and at some universities like Columbia, for example, if we're talking about like hundreds, we can kind of like assume that probably they won't be having, like any full ride scholarship. Okay. How about graduate research or teaching assistant position? So for master's degree in the US, full ride scholarships are kind of rare, but what is quite common is what I have here on number 3. That is graduate research or teaching assistant position. So when I said earlier about if the program is, science heavy or is kind of like, a somewhat small program, you can actually get funded from the universities by doing a graduate research or teaching assistant position. So how it works is basically you kind of work for the university, and as an international student, we are allowed to work 20 hours a week. So you're going to work as a graduate research or teaching assistant position, depending on whichever position that is available from the university. And then the universities usually, they don't call it scholarship, but then they call it so many different things. But then what's going to happen is they may put it in form of, they waive the tuition. So you pay 0 tuition. And then on top of that, so not only they're going to let you pay $0 for your tuition, they will pay you on top of that. So that's going to go towards, your accommodation, meals, and what have you. Okay. So if you want to know more about it, please leave it in the chat and then we can talk about it during the Q&A. But I think this is actually really, really, really exciting opportunities. And in fact,